1E, the show where you have to spot the short film in the displays of digits. Let's meet our 4 teams tonight. Please welcome Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and the last one, Team 4. Now please reveal the lineup. One of these 5 people standing here is a real film lover. So all you have to do is to ask them several questions, whatever you can think of, to detect who's really love films, who's the real deal. So from number 1 to number 5, please take turn to introduce yourself. Number 1.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Pri, and tonight I'm gonna tell you my another hobby, film. The first thing I'd like to mention is that I really have a great passion for films, both motion pictures or dramas. Every weekend, I certainly let myself unwind with short movies of my favorites, or when I have more free time, I like to enjoy marathon viewings on an exciting drama series. Despite loving to watch movies, I rarely go to the cinema due to the existence of the internet. I usually find films to see on Netflix or other movie apps because they are more convenient and don't depend on showtimes. Moving on to kinds of films I love, I'm really a big fan of detective combined with romantic comedy. The reason for this is because I'm really fond of mysterious circumstances, and I also want to relax. One of the most important criteria making me choose a film to see is an interesting plot and new storyline. But what really retained me to watch into the end is the excellent acting of the main and supporting roles. Besides, I also like to read some reviews of famous critics for choosing. Finally, I want to emphasize the point that I'm actually a film buff, and choose me if you like the reward.
Okay, hello everyone, this is me again. And I know that all 3 of you guys already know me so well. And with a very interesting topic today, I would like to begin by saying that watching movies is one of my biggest hobbies in my life. I do not only watch movies on some website, Netflix, or even in the internet, but I also go to the movie theater with my friends whenever it has something new released. Honestly, I try to absorb and enjoy as many kinds of films that I can, ranging from blockbuster like Endgame, or emotional roller coaster like Parasite, and even some visual effect like Avatar. But I have to say that the films make me most impressive is Parasite. It's a story about 2 families from the opposite ends of their socio-economic spectrum. And moreover, what I really love in that film is that the feeling and the acting from the very skillful actors. And last but not least, for me, the film is a medium that can transport me to different worlds and environments, and that's also the reason why I really love film so much. And it's also the reason why I'm the real odd one in today. So choose me, and you will win the game. Thank you.
Hello everyone. If you ask me what I would love to do in my free time, definitely I would say is watching films. To me, as we only live once, so watching films is a great chance for me to immerse myself into another life. And I would say I'm still a kid at heart, so I really enjoy watching kids' movies, especially cartoons. Although they seem innocent and simple, there are often many life lessons packed into these films. And I don't have any particular favorite actor because most of the film I choose is based on the plot or the genre I'm interested in. Now I will tell you about the most impressive, the most interesting film I have ever seen is The Inside Out. It was a dazzlingly imaginative adventure set inside the mind of an 11-year-old girl. She's led by emotions, joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. Although joy, which is the main and the most important emotion, is trying to keep things positive and happy, the difficulties of adapting to new life have let other emotions overshadow joy, and the adventure of striving to regaining her previous status really makes me on emotional roller coaster. And finally, I realized that only love and happiness can form a solid foundation to support me through life's ups and downs. So all of you have already heard about my favorite film and my hobby. You want to be a winner tonight? That means you have to choose me as the odd one in. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I'm very excited right now to talk with you guys about my favorite hobby, movie. Also, I want to prove that I am the real movie addict tonight. So the first thing I'd like to mention is that how I fall in love with movie. The first movie that I watched is Kung Fu Hustle, a Chinese movie directed by Stephen Chow. My brother introduced it to me when I was just 8 years old. And then after that, I realized this is the one I really like. This is really interesting. And at the same time, I had the chance to watch Disney movie like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, and Beauty and the Beast, and of course some Barbie princess series. So, and I realized that movies is much better than TV series thanks to excellent content, high resolution graphics picture, and the way that the message in the picture that the director transformed to the audience. So later, when I can access the internet on my own, I keep discovering more about the world of English movie, and I find out more interesting types of movie like adventure, action movie, psychology, fantastic, and even musical. So I'm so interested in movie that I watch a movie at least 3 times a week. And at that time, I did not have even when I didn't have any electric device to connect to the internet to watch a movie. I went to the next door, the place where teenagers went there to use the computer and spend and pay for each hour they play. So I went there at least 3 times a week. And then I went there 3 times a week, not for online games, not for social network, but for movie. So, but now my life is a little busier, so once a week watching movie is enough for me. So you can see that I'm really passionate in movie. So if you are the film buff like me, you can easily recognize me. So I'm the number 4. Vote me if you want to be the winner tonight.
Hello class, I'm number 5 tonight. I'd like to begin by saying that I'm a big fan of films. Most of the films I ever watched are Korean films, but sometimes I also watch the shows of other countries like Grey's Anatomy or How I Met Your Mother. I watch a variety of genres, but absolutely except for horror ones because I don't like those at all. And moving on to my favorite shows, its name is It's Okay That's Love. The show serves up an oddball flavor 3-in-1 love package, exploring romance, friendship, and family. The main part of the show is the love between a writer and a psychiatrist. Both of them suffer from mental illness rooted in the past of them. And they go on a journey of acceptance and love as they work towards the healing. And the thing I like the most in the show is that the way the director depicted the imperfection of characters, like normal people in our society. And that made the film more realistic to audiences. And moving on to my favorite actors, it's really hard for me to say who is my favorite actor, but if I have to make a choice, I would choose Cho Seung-woo. He starred in so many Korean films with his brilliant acting. And I was amazed by his performance in the legal thriller, Sacred Forest. He played as a prosecutor who had a crucial surgery in his brain in his childhood, which left him unable to feel emotions. So technically, he had to act as an unemotional person. So, but regardless of the challenge, he performed so well, and that got him an important reward of the year. So that's all about my habit watching films. So choose me if you want to be the winner tonight.
Thank you for all of these incredible introductions. Now you will have 15 minutes for Q&A. Your 15 minutes start now.
Number 4. What are the advantages of watching films?
Well, to me, there are at least 3 advantages of watching film. The first is relieving stress. After a long day at work, you can went home, forget about all the things you had to do in school and in your work, and you just sit down and deep dive in another world of imagination, the words of the movie. And enjoy the feeling, the experience that the director wants us to have.
Number 2. What lesson did you learn from the film Parasite?
Well, thank you for your question, and it's hard to say, but well, honestly, it's not called a lesson, but the feeling of sorry for the chief human status in the society. After watching the Parasite, I have a thought that people inborn all good, but the gaslight puts them into the wrong way, and all the image of scare or the life or the cockroaches in the film, all of them all imply to the cheap social economy. Yes.
Number 3. Do you think action movies are bad for children?
Well, to some extent, I agree with that. I do think that action movies with too many violent scenes have a detrimental effect on children for several reasons. First, children who regularly watch these films are more likely to become aggressive or impulsive. They are also more likely to get exposed to foul language, which may influence the way they behave or the way they think. Second, kids tend to lose the sense of reality because in such movies, characters are usually shown as a hero or to be admired or to be imitated. And this can lead them to think that they can get what they want just by copying their behavior or something like that. And also, this also leads to the tendency of violence.
How could we prevent children from watching these violent films?
Well, I believe there are several ways to tackle this problem, and I would mention 2 ways that seem feasible to me. First, government should impose a strict regulation on filming. In particular, movies with too much violence should be banned or restricted by age. Second, children can only be allowed to watch TV or videos on the internet under supervision of their parents. And by this way, parents can control which channel is safe and beneficial to their kids.
Number 2, what are the advantages of being addicted to watching movies?
Well, for sure there are some drawbacks, and I suppose that the most disadvantage and the most negative aspect of being addicted of watching TV is that watching TV wastes a lot of time, because the average length of movie is about 2 hours. So if a person who is addicted in films and he's watch film every day, and then he will waste at least 14 hours per week. And it's also, and moreover, addicted in films also lead to some negative aspect. Like if he watch some films have a dark or negative contents, he will act the best in the real life, or they will accept in his daily life. Thank you.
Number 5. Why do you refer Korean movies to the Western ones?
Yeah, I never thought about that, but if I have to say, I think the main reason why I prefer watching Korean films is because 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 I find it easier to approach the content that they deliver. Like, you can see that the culture of Korea is quite the same as us, like kind of Asian culture. So when I watch the Korean films, I find approachable to understand what happened in the films or how the characters behave like that. Yes, and the second factor that make me feel like Korean films more than Western ones is maybe because the beauty or handsomeness of the actor or actresses in the films, they are so beautiful that I have to like look at them all the time.
Number one, what genres of movie do you think attract young people?
Well, there are a range of movies genres that attracts young people. The one thing that comes to my mind is romantic films. Especially there's a combination between love and ambition of the youth. Because this type of film is easy to reach viewer because due to the plot and storyline is similar to what the young people like to experience. Another popular is horror film. The reason for this is because young people like to experience strong feelings through thriller circumstances.
Number 5. What kind of movies do you like best?
I watch a variety of types of movies, but I think I prefer watching dramas the most. Drama is the kind of movies focusing on realistic feature, like depicting the real life. So a case in point is Grey's Anatomy. That's a medical drama, presenting a bunch of different situations that a doctor have to deal in the hospital in their career path. By watching this, I can learn much about how doctors deal with cases in the career path and also even the stuff in their lives.
Number 4. Do you think that watching films has educational benefits?
Yes, of course. I think that watching film, of course, has a benefit because you asked me about the advantages of before,
Yes.
and do you think that it is pretty similar with your previous question?
Advantages is different from educational benefits. Educational benefits is just one of advantages.
Okay, so educational benefit to the young is I think that watching movie definitely have education benefit to the young because as I said before, yes, in every movie the director want to say something meaningful. There's usually a lesson. The director want to say to the audience that we need to be better. We need to act like the main character. The main character obviously have some right characteristic that the audience want to do like him to be better, to stand up and be strong. So I think yes, of course, movie do have educational benefit.
Number 1. Do you think different age groups like the same kinds of films?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay. Do you think different age groups like the same kinds of films?
Well, I think at different ages, the preference of films is also different. As you can see, children like to see cartoon or comedy animated movies, while young people like horror film or romantic films, which the older do not prefer as much as to TV series, would have many circumstances similar to real life. Yes.
What is your favorite film?
Well, my favorite film is detective, especially combined with romantic comedy. Yes.
Number 3. Which cartoon character do you want to be when you were a child?
When I was a child?
Yeah.
When I was a child, I used to wish to become a beautiful girl like Cinderella. Because at that time, I always thought that whenever I encountered any difficulty in my life, there would be a fairy that appears and help me to overcome it. When I grow up, however, I realized that there's no magic, there's no fairy, and I'm not Cinderella. I have to overcome, I have to deal with my life on my own.
Number 1. Do you prefer watching film at home or at the cinema?
I do prefer watching film at home since I can watch at my leisure and it's so convenient to pause or go back a few scenes if I find it attention grabbing. While I can do that in the cinema. And moreover, there's nothing better than kicking your back on the sofa and enjoying the film.
Number 1, do you think TV drama reflects what happens in the real world?
Well, I tend to think that many TV dramas have plot and storyline based on what happened in real life to make viewer easy to understand and sympathize with the character. But there are also many circumstances that are very imaginary and magnified for the purpose of to be more attractive and having sufficient details for many episodes.
Number 5. Why are the Korean dramas really addictive?
Yeah, I tend to think that it's really addictive to most of the young audience, especially those in Asia. The main reason why I think that way is because sorry, but can you repeat the question?
Yes. Why the Korean dramas really addictive?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree with your idea. The main reason why I think that way is because of the unique and unpredictable plots of Korean films. Like, there are many rare plots that we can see in Korean films, but we can't see them in other countries' films, like a goblin fighting his bride, or an alien falling down to the earth and falling in love with a famous actress. So it's so strange for a Vietnamese character to die of cancer, but it's so common in Korean films to see that, right? So I think the craziness itself draw a lot of attention of audiences. Yes, we watch and wait for what to happen next. So that's the reason why Korean films are so addictive.
Do you think the people would never go to the cinema with the help of internet or technology in the future? Number 2.
That's right. And well, I think that due to the internet, but more people will choose go to the cinema to watch movie, because when you go to the cinema, you can get better watching experience because they had bigger screens and they had a better sound effect. That's also, I think that's the main reason for many people still have Wi-Fi, but they still choose to go to the movie theater to watch film.
Number 4. Is there anything you don't like about romance movie?
Yes, sometimes, yes, romance movie is the one that I love the most. But sometimes I feel like watching too much romance movie can make me think like my future lover in the future it must be a perfect one. It must be the main character in the movie. So it's make me imagination so much, and this doesn't make sense in the reality.
Any question? Okay, time's up. The 5 players, you can take a short rest. Okay, it's time for group discussion. Each group will have 2 minutes to discuss, and after that, you have to point out who's the odd one in tonight. Give me the reason why you choose her and why you don't choose other people. Your time starts now.